everyone, and welcome to Unity of London. And after that lovely uprising song, we affirm happiness is the truth. Are we having another song, Larry?
Yes, we are. It's the Unity song.
I have a dream of what I wanna be. I wanna be free. That's what my heart keeps telling me. Give me your hand.
We'll find a way.
There's people out there
that feel the same.
if we help each other, I just know we can succeed. We are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. And we are unity. We are unity.
I do believe, oh, I believe in destiny. It's up to me.
If we help each
other, I just know we can succeed.
We are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. No matter where you're from or who you are, if we can find a common place to be, that we are friends. We are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. Oh, we are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. We are unity.
So just two really wonderful songs to remind us who we are, that we are happiness. That is the truth. That is the truth of who we are as truth seekers and believers in unity. Service. We welcome all of people that are online here this morning, and we also welcome all of the people who are at 501 Nelson Street dancing and just having a wonderful time this morning. So in May, our power of the month is power, which is the vital energy that has its seat in your throat. And so power is self-mastery and spiritual presence, and the color for power is purple. So this morning we affirm, I have the power to create my world. And our vision at Unity of London, and for most of the unities around the world, is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And along with our vision, we also have our mission, which is co-creating with spirit to transform lives through shared spiritual awakening. So what does that mean to us? Well, it means that we can be a loving, supportive, inclusive community, that we are together. It also means that we promote our self-expression, because who we are is God expressing through us. And without self-expression, joy lacks spontaneity and joy. And we saw that once again in that Pharrell Williams song, where he was dancing and all the people down the street were dancing too. Okay, the important thing too is we believe and we live the 5 principles. And the 5 principles, just to expand a little further than what we usually do in the week, is God is. There is only one power, one presence in the world, God the good, and God is everywhere present. So number 2, I am. What that means is that we are human beings that have a spark of divinity in the divine spirit within us. And I think means that as humans, our thoughts and mind produce after their kind. So if we are thinking negative thoughts, then that may be what shows up in our life. But if we are thinking strong, positive, affirmative thoughts, that can be what shows up in our life. I pray means that is how we make our conscious connection with the divine spirit through prayer and meditation. And that heightens the connection with the God mind and brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. And of course, I live means that we can't just believe all of the other 4 principles without putting them into action. So knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. We must also live the truth that we know. And of course, be the change in the world that you want to see happen. By inspiring people to make a big difference or a small difference in the world. And also what we do at Unity of London is we provide fellowship and education for spiritual seekers of all walks of life. And I know that Pauline is still continuing her class. So today we do have breakout rooms, and today's prayer chaplain is Dawn at Unity. So thanks very much, Dawn, for taking that on. And so I believe that we do have some announcements. Well, I know we have some announcements this morning. And so the first one is about Amber Needham. And on May 29th, our dear Amber will be presenting a Sunday message about the many faces of power. And following that service, we will have an opportunity to celebrate Amber's new book, which is now out, and to speak to her about her upcoming fundraising ride across Ontario. So those of you who are on Facebook right now, may have seen some of Amber's video as she's practicing and getting ready to go on this big trip. Her latest project is to raise awareness and funds for the Toronto Western Hospital Ophthalmology Department for the creation of a stem cell donor register, as well as further research and treatments for ocular diseases, so eye diseases. So please consider coming out in person for the 10:30 a.m. service and following fellowship next week, May 29th, to show support for Amber and her cause. So she is really reaching out into the world to make the changes that she would like to see. So yes, those of us who can be there in present, in our own person, will be there, I am sure. And the rest of us, Amber, we're supporting you the best way that we can. So we're just delighted that Amber is taking on this project. So now, of course, there is another announcement, which is a heart announcement. And so it is sad to announce that on Friday, May the 20th at 5:30 p.m., a person who followed Unity teachings for her whole life made her transition. A great friend of Unity of London, and to most of us here, we will miss the smiling face of our dear Lois Colbert. We bless her in her transition. We bless her family and all those, including us, who will miss her earthly presence. Her celebration of life will be held on June the 19th at Unity of London after the Sunday service. And so, we just bless Lois on her transition, knowing that that smiling face that comes to our mind will continue to bless us as she always has. And so today, we'll just mention that Unity's foundation is affirmative prayer, and Silent Unity has been praying for and with people for over 130 years, 24/7. So of course you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And we invite anyone who is in person at Nelson Street to that would like additional prayer for anyone to please put their name on the little forms that are at the front of the sanctuary and put their name in the prayer box. And those names will be forwarded to Silent Unity to be prayed over for a month. So if you just like to close your eyes, if that feels comfortable, and we'll just go into prayer right now. And as we go into prayer, we bless everyone attending all spiritual gatherings, knowing that there are many paths to the one God. And today we bless the 3 people and their families who made their transition yesterday, victims of the storm that passed through Southern Ontario. And for those of us who lived in Northern Ontario, we missed that big storm. So we're extremely grateful for that. But we did see the damage that was done with the trees and cars overturned and a lot of damage. So we bless anyone who felt the effects of that nature movement. So we continue to hold in peace every situation in the world, praying that calm minds and loving hearts will prevail. We lift up anyone who is experiencing any challenges, knowing that they have the strength and the love of the divine spirit, and that is surrounding them right now. And we take this opportunity to hold anyone that you wish in blessings and prayer, and to speak those names quietly into this space. We bless our fellow Unity organizations, and today especially Unity White Rock and Unity New Westminster. And so as we move forth into this day, into this long weekend, into this 24th of May weekend, we understand and affirm that I am one with all that is, and so it is, and so I let it be. And so in honor of our dear Lois Colbert, Peggy Matzer, our platform person, will be sharing the daily word from Friday, May 20th of this year. We felt that this would be a nice tribute for Lois.
Yes, indeed. Friday's daily word was definitely made for someone like Lois, a dear friend to us all. The word for Friday was friendly. I am a friend to all. We have all known people who were so friendly, so full of life, that just being in their presence lifted our hearts and soothed our spirits. I know that, like those friendly folks, I also have the power to brighten the lives of those around me. I resolve to make this world a friendlier and better place. I take this moment to ponder which steps I can take to be a friend to all I meet. Something as subtle as a smile or a compliment could make more of a difference to someone than I realize. My times of prayer also provide me with an opportunity to generate life, light, and love for humankind. As I envision each person centered in the vibration and energy of God, I fulfill and share my spirit of loving goodwill. Do not forsake your friend or the friend of your parent. Proverbs 27, verse 10. And now our speaker today has been a prayer chaplain since soon after joining Unity of London in 2012. She is a past Unity of London board president, author, a trainer, a certified coach in communication in life skills. And she is currently teaching her second Unity course, Point of Power. And she has chosen the Healing Letters, Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. I believe she's in the third week or fourth week of that now. And it is part of her journey towards becoming a licensed Unity teacher. With her message about how to feel, identify, and express, please help me welcome Pauline Duncan Thrasher.
Thank you very much. And we did go through a sound system just before, so I hope this is audible to everyone. Thanks to Peggy for that message. And to all of us who are in this room, and to all who may be listening online and who may listen in the future, feelings are part of our human nature. That's who we are. We are also divine presence. And this message is based on a wonderful book that I will probably do a course, teach a course about in the fall. The book is called Nonviolent Communication by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. Some of you may be familiar with that book. Feelings or needs, sometimes they get mixed up. Do we identify our feelings, identify our needs, or do we camouflage them, hide them? Do we suppress our feelings as though you're pushing it down, way down, or do we express our feelings? In the words of author Dr. Marshall B. Rosenberg, nonviolent communication is not about encouraging us to ignore or squash or swallow strong feelings, but rather to look at the core. If you think of your upbringing and mine, we were not often encouraged to share your feelings. If you felt angry at your parents and you yelled or spoke back or stamped your foot, then you could expect to be punished or sent to your room. If you felt sad and you happened to be a boy or a man and you cried, you were probably told, boys don't cry. And yet that was a legitimate feeling, a real feeling. Why should girls get to cry and boys not cry? And the story of Martha and Mary is deep, just rose to my mind today. And you recall that story of Martha and Mary, both friends of Jesus. And when Jesus went to visit them, Martha, the worker, was in the kitchen. And I know that Mary Ann might identify with Martha because was in our fellowship today. She was in the kitchen preparing food, working hard, getting a little feast ready for Jesus and his friends. That was how she was expressing her feelings and also her need to be of practical use. Mary, on the other hand, was out in the room at the feet of Jesus, probably gazing into his eyes, listening to every word he said. Martha got quite peeved at the thought that she was doing all the work. Why should Mary get to sit there and look adoringly at Jesus while I'm working hard in the kitchen? If this sounds familiar, it probably occurs in real life a lot. And it occurs because we are different. Some of us are more practical in filling the needs of others. You know people like that. I know people like that. They're the cookers. They get all the food ready. They clean the pantries. They carry the food. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful. We need people like that. We also need people like Mary, the quiet, supportive, prayerful people. And when Martha said, maybe she didn't say it this way, well, how come she gets to just sit there and pray and I do all the work? And Jesus, in his own words, said, well, just cool it. Not his words, probably. Just relax. Let Mary be Mary and you be you. Identifying our feelings and needs and expressing them is really essential. Now, I don't know if this was you, but nonviolent communication is a guide for us in reframing how we express ourselves and how we hear other people. How do we express our needs? Do we hide them? Do we do little subtle expression of needs and hope that people will pick up what we're really saying? Guilty. Or do we come right out and say, I need you to help me out right now? And when we hear other people, are we hearing the heart of the other people, or are we hearing something else? In his book, Marshall Rosenberg talks about the difference between feelings and thoughts. And here are some phrases he uses. A common confusion is thinking that we're expressing feelings when we're really expressing thoughts. Words such as that, like, as if. I feel that you should know better. I feel like a failure. I feel as if I'm living with a wall. This was something a woman said to her husband and shared this with Marshall Rosenberg. And he said, well, have you talked to your husband like that? And she said, yes. I told him I feel as though I'm living with a wall. And he said, how did he respond? She said, he left the room because she wasn't expressing her need. She was just blaming him. Expressing her need might have been, I need to feel as though you're listening to me. When I share a feeling with you, I need you to respond back. And sometimes we don't want to share our needs because it makes us feel vulnerable. Have you ever been there? Does that ever happen when you thought, I'm just going to do it myself? I'm not saying I need anything because then I'll look like a weakling. Then you'll look real and you might have your needs met. The pronoun I, you, he, she, they, or it are thoughts. I feel I'm constantly on call. I feel it is useless. I need to have some time off. I need to feel that I am valuable. Names or nouns referring to people. I feel my boss is being manipulative. That's your thought about what your boss is doing. It's not an actual real feeling. It's an interpretation. Distinguishing between what we feel and what we think we are is important. I wonder what you're feeling or thinking right now. And are you able to really express that to yourself? Sometimes we even camouflage our own feelings when we're sitting in silence. Too hard to deal with it. So we think of something else, or we pretend we're someone we're not. Families of all ages, all different challenges, some needing a wheelchair, some needing extra help, some senior, some young. They all have needs, they all have feelings, and they all need to express. And I had to put this in. I know we're not kids, we're not girls. To the men, pretend it's a guy, a young boy. There is an excitement of learning. And I invite you to really consider while you're listening now, when you go home after this presentation, to think about how you express your feelings and needs to the people you love and to the people around you. And it's never too late to learn. Never too late to learn a new way. Learning to accept responsibility for our feelings rather than blame other people means acknowledging our own needs, our own desires, our own expectations, our own values, and our own thoughts. And what others do might be the stimulus, but they're not the cause for our feelings. Just imagine your spouse wakes up and sounds a little bit out of sorts. And then pretty soon you're saying, I feel grumpy today. I think it's his fault. Maybe his grumpiness was the stimulus, but it wasn't the cause. You get to say, he's feeling grumpy. I can do that happy dance that we were doing at the beginning of this presentation. So the blame is so easy. It comes so readily, especially if you're close to the person that you live with. It's not fair and it's not grown up. Little kids sometimes get angry and they yell at their parents, I hate you. I hate you. You make me feel so sad. But they haven't developed the maturity to figure out how to take ownership of how they feel. Our feelings result from what we choose to receive, what we choose. What do we choose from what others say or do? What does it say about our particular needs or expectations? Marshall Rosenberg suggests 4 ways we can respond to negative messages or what we perceive as negative messages. We can blame ourselves. We can blame other people. We can sense our own feelings and needs, or we can sense their feelings and needs. Would that make a difference? Absolutely. I evaluated a young man on Thursday night. He's quite a new Toastmaster, a new speaker. And I will save you the yelling. That was the message. He wanted to demonstrate power at the lectern, and he thought that power meant pacing around, moving his hands violently in the air, and yelling at us. It was so distressing. And I thought after, Pauline, why were you distressed? And this message was on my mind. I was distressed because I wanted a peaceful atmosphere, the way we always have a peaceful atmosphere at Toastmasters. I needed peace, and I needed someone at the lectern who was respecting us and our needs, not somebody who had his own power trip or his vision of what a power trip looked like. In our interactions with other people, sometimes we may feel that they are being too powerful, too aggressive, too bossy, too something. But that's blaming them. That's not recognizing what we need in the situation and how we are responding, not reacting, responding. And this takes awareness, being aware of how we are in that situation with that person or that message. And takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of recognition of the divine presence within and our powers within. Our power of discernment that doesn't come snap, snap like that. We don't suddenly become wise overnight and lose all of our habits of pushing down our feelings and hiding behind a smile or hiding behind pleasantness or hiding behind just no expression at all. Rosenberg shared in his book how certain members of our community, corporate bosses, by the way, this young man's heroes, who he declared openly, are number 1, Trump, and number 2, Elon Musk. And in my evaluation, I said, are they your heroes because of their accumulation of wealth, or were there other reasons that you chose them to be your heroes? Just a question. But it disturbed me. And I thought, why did it disturb me so much? Because I'm with people like you. I'm a member of Unity of London, where our heroes are Jesus, the way shower. Our heroes are people of peace and love who respond rather than react. How we are likely to feel when our needs are being met or not met. Now, I abbreviated this because he had a list of more than 100 words for each side. But just so you get an idea. He also talks about how we don't express our needs specifically. How many of you, like me, are asked, how are you feeling? Have you been asked that lately? Just let me see, because you're the real people that I see in front of me. Anybody ask, how are you feeling? And how many of you say, I'm good. I'm fine. That's such a vague answer that can cover a wide array, or it's just a cover up because I don't feel like telling you specifically that today I'm feeling, as I said to my mentor on the middle of the week, I'm feeling discombobulated. And she said, that's not in Marshall Rosenberg's book, Pauline. I said, I know, my own word. So when your feelings are not being met, you may feel, when they are being met, you may feel animated, excited. Wow, all my needs are being met. I feel great today. If they're not being met, you may feel annoyed. If they're being met, you may feel blissful, delighted, on top of the world. Not being met, you may feel a little bit bitter. What's going on here? Why isn't somebody treating me to dessert or taking me out for a walk? Because you didn't ask, or because you didn't take yourself out, or because you didn't treat yourself. Maybe that could be the reason. Needs being met, you feel delighted. Not being met, you may feel dejected and forlorn. Maybe sorry for yourself too. Needs being met, enthusiastic. Not being met, exasperated. Being met, glowing. Everything's great in my world today. Everything I need, I'm getting. Wow, yay for me. Not being met, gloomy. Being met, helpful. Not being met, helpless. Does this mean we turn into selfish, self-seeking people who just care about our own needs? No. That's not the message. The message is that we also need to be aware of the needs of other people. And how are they expressing their needs not being met? And are we quick to pick up on that? Our ability to express our own feelings and needs and to empathize with them can free us from depression. To really be conscious enough of how we're feeling and to treat ourselves as a child within that we all are, with loving care. I think this is so wise. I've never been a marital counselor, heaven forbid, because I haven't been married long enough. And then it's be outside my realm. But allowing ourselves to be vulnerable by expressing our feelings can help resolve conflicts. We don't have to act super strong. We don't have to put on a face or act as something we are not with the people we love. But sometimes we think we need to, for whatever reason. Imagine a team at work, wherever your work was. I think about my fellow teachers, and the principal I felt closest to was the one I could talk to about how my class was running openly, honestly, and candidly. And he responded likewise. And expressing our feelings, I love pictures. I couldn't resist. So if you're a baby, the babies are, in a way, they're lucky, just in a little way. I don't want to be a baby again. But they can't speak, so they cry. And someone, that's their feeling. Now, it needs to be interpreted. Does the diaper need changing, or they need feeding, or they just want a hug? And sometimes it's our friends with whom we can so openly express our feelings, no matter what our age. Just to be with. Does that mean there are no conflicts? No. But expressing our feelings can really help. And being open to the other person expressing theirs, not just about us. And I recently completed a little couple of sessions with Linda Martella Whitsett online. And this was something she said. We believe we unleash the power of divine life, love, and wisdom when we make every thought, word, and action an intentional spiritual practice. That could be a little bit daunting. If you think, do I have to think every time this is an intentional spiritual practice? Just means try to be loving and wise. Practicing the 5 principles leads to spiritual mastery, and it increases our capacity to reflect divine life, love, and wisdom. And just before I conclude, a reminder of what those 5 principles are. And this is Linda Martella Whitsett's words. God is. God is the only power, me, divine presence. Everything out there in the whole world, God is the only divine power. I am, we are divine. Our feelings and ideas, attitudes and beliefs, everything we hold in our mind are major influences on our life. And who gets to choose what we think? Me? No, I get to choose what I think. You get to choose what you think and what you believe, what you love, what you hold close to your heart. And all of those choices determine your happiness. And you might say, well, what if I got really sick? Then you also get to choose how you're going to respond to that. I know there are people in this room who've dealt with major illnesses, and they stayed somehow positive. They stayed connected with spiritual divine presence. And in doing that, they made the ultimate choice: love, life, and wisdom. And those people are shining light for all of us. And the people who love them are shining light, because you're saying, I love this person, I respect this person, I appreciate this person for how they are coping with what others might just push them down. Life is a series of challenges. Our feelings and our needs need to be expressed. We need to be conscious of them. I pray. I realize oneness through prayer and meditation. I live. And we practice these principles every day. And that's what makes unity unique. Our awareness and our consciousness. Let us now go into meditation. Someone left a whole lot of little booklets in the prayer room. I was there last week. It's called Spiritual Support for Caregivers and Those Who Love Them. And if you want one of these little booklets, just go to the prayer room after. You'll find Dawn and the booklets. You might want to pray with Dawn, then get a booklet. This is what Eric Butterworth said in The Flow of Life. We often think of death as the supreme reality, or at least the one with great certainty. But death is only a tunnel through which we pass from sunlight to sunlight. Grief over death, too, is a tunnel with light at both ends, something we pass through. And if right now you feel in grief, think of those words. I am passing through a tunnel, sunlight to sunlight. I'll let you know when our time is fulfilled. Remember to keep breathing, everybody. Breathe in and breathe out. Think of the light, the love, the life flowing through you. As we prepare to return, may we take our love, our light, and our vulnerability to express feelings and needs with us when we leave our place of togetherness. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
So Pauline, thank you very much for another very thoughtful, informative talk. You know, a few things that I took away from that today. So one of your first things that you talked about was that, you know, if you run into a person who is grumpy, that they may be the stimulus of our feelings, but they are not the cause of our feelings. So, and how easy it is to actually just, it's so much simpler just to say, oh, you make me feel that way. Well, no, we need to be responsible for our own feelings. And of course, those words from Linda Martellik-Witzig, those are very, very strong and powerful words for sure. And the other thing too that I happened to come across this week was a saying where it said basically that if we respond in anger, what we are doing is we're covering up some form of pain that we may have. So to me, that made me sit up and pay attention as to sort of really, so when I'm feeling a certain way, what is really the cause of that? And I think that, you know, you reached out and you just expressed so eloquently so many things that occur in our lives around feelings and needs. So I thank you for that today.
Yeah, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world, this is a place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world, this is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day. 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 Spreading peace along the way. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. Right time, right place. Living love every day. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. In this world. In this world. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. In this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the place. This is the time. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
So we appreciate your sharing of your time with us today, and we welcome all newcomers to our service. And I'd like to especially reach out to Judy Grimson and Jamie Fotillo for joining us today. And David General, always lovely to see you every time. Wherever you may be, we welcome you. And we are grateful for all of you who choose to offer to the source that nourishes them spiritually. We honor our many members who share time, talent, and abundance with our community. So now the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. And yea, God, for all of those things. It's now our peace song. Well, the one thing I'd like to just comment on is I don't know who's responsible for all those wonderful new slides, but they are really beautiful. So thank you. Thank you to that. Okay, so now we're going to have spend a little time in fellowship. So if there's anyone online or in the congregation that would like to come up and share with us, if you can just raise your hand and we'll get your comments now. Amber? Oh, you're on mute. You're muted, Amber.
There we are. Yes, thank you so much, Pauline. I'm looking forward to your book study in the fall, and I'm definitely going to attend that one.
Great. Thank you, Amber. Anybody else online or in the fellowship room that would like to comment on today's talk? Catherine Bro?
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Oh, Pauline, that was an absolutely amazing talk. And I would just like to say that Larry and I did this course together a few years back, and that it really began a beautiful transformation of the way we communicate with each other. And I have leaned on this book and on these teachings and put them into practice at my own pace and at our own pace. And it works. It really, really makes a difference to own and be responsible for my own feelings, and then to be able to express and say, wow, here's what I experience when you say that or do that. And I'm not sure why, but I just want you to know that that's how I feel. And it just opens that channel for communication in a loving and kind way. And then I'm just going to end that by saying my favorite new saying in life is, if you can't be kind, be vague. I just had to share that. That was from my sister-in-law's celebration of life this week. Her name was Margot, and that was called a Margoism. So there you go. You have been Margot blessed as well.
Okay, what about, is there anybody there at 501 Nelson who has something to say? We'd like to see your face here. Oh. Okay, well, there must be some really great things for lunch or for snacks afterwards. Then,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to respond. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us at 501 Nelson Street and online. And we'll see you all next week. So for those of you online who want to stay on, if you want to have a little fellowship, that's great. And for the rest of you, enjoy all that good homemade cooking and coffee and stuff out in the fellowship hall. We'll see you soon.
Hey, Wilda, those slides
Yes.
were made by Hilda years and years ago. I went back into the archives to look at bring up some old stuff, and there they were. And I thought, well, why aren't we using these beautiful slides? So there they are.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Larry.
they're from-
I wondered about that
They're
because they
from
were
3 or 4
really
years
beautiful.
ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, so David and Sylvia, what's up with you guys these days?
Well, I'm still hanging out up here in the north.
Oh,
Are you?
So who knows where I'll end up next, but for now this works.
So where are
The,
you in the north, David?
Oh, I'm in Northwest Territories in a little place called Fort Simpson.
Okay.
I work with a business development organization here at the moment, so yeah, it keeps me out of trouble.
I think you move even more than we do, David. That's awesome. Definitely
mean,
further.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, certainly the
yeah, you should go
extremes.
a little further, it's the further the better, you
There
can,
you go.
Nothing like
Yeah.
Bahamas up to Northwest Territories. That sounds like a great move to me.
That's why everybody
Yeah.
laughed at us for moving from Florida to Ontario. They're like, you got this backwards, eh?
well, I
And I-
might end up back there anyway, who knows, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
When I hear that video, We Are Unity, it causes me to think of the volunteer work that I have done in other countries and
Yeah.
makes me want to do it again. So
Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah, that kind of I was with CUSO, so
Oh,
Canadian
really?
University Service or whatever overseas. So if you ever want an adventure, give that a shot.
Good.
And right now they're staffing
Right.
up Africa, so if you want to head
Right.
over there,
Ooh.
and you could still go on the Unity service from there too. So what the heck?
Cool.
And
Anyway,
so our
that's
sweet
me.
Sylvia, how are you doing this week?
Hi, it's lovely to see everybody. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this online and see everybody and all your smiling faces. So
How are
Well, we're
you?
grateful to have you for sure.
thank you.
How are you?
I'm hanging in. I'm hanging in. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Are you-
I'm so grateful for your company.
Are you being supported?
Yes, I see all these lovely faces, and you fill me with peace and love and support. I'm feeling very supported by all of you. So I feel it. Thank you.
Beautiful.
It's June 19th.
All right. Okay, well, I'm going to sign out now. So everybody enjoy the rest of their long weekend, whatever is happening for you.
I got a funny story for you before you go, Wilda.
Okay, go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
we're trying to finish strip tilling last week at George and Barb's farm.
Yeah.
And I'm driving the tractor, got maybe like half a day, most work left to be done. And I'm going around the corner, and while I'm driving the tractor, I'm listening to the local radio station, and on comes Kenny Rogers singing one of his favorite songs. And right then, the left wheel of the tractor almost fell off. It was one bolt holding it on. And on the radio is playing, "You picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel."
And on that note,
Yeah, on that note.
And if you
oh my God, I live with this, you guys. I live with this.
You're so lucky.
I know.
That's good,
Bye.
Larry.
Bye, everybody. Hey, Barbie and George. Mwah. Bye, everybody that's there. You can only
Yes,
see.
hi,
Oh, there's
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
We see
Chuck
you,
and
George
Suzanne.
and Barb and Dawn.
Dawn, yeah.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
Sylvia, I hold you in my heart, Sylvia, every day. I do. Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Take care.
Mwah. It's a fun time to lose weight.
I just had to put that in.